Welcome to the Animals 2LL, Animals of Laughing and Loving. Animals 2LL, Animals of Laughing and Loving is a channel that loves animals and enjoys sharing stories about different species, whether they're emotional or funny. The idea is to bring content that warms our hearts and makes us happy to watch. Have you ever imagined having an elephant as a pet? That wasn't exactly the purpose of British activist Roxy Dankworth's, but it eventually happened with the arrival of Moyo, a friendly orphaned baby elephant who became her darling. Often, we may not want to have a pet at home due to a lack of space. But some stories, like this one about baby elephant Moyo, reveal other possibilities. This very peculiar case is going around the world through social media. Roxy is responsible for At Wild is Life, a wildlife care center in Zimbabwe, and has spent the last 20 years caring for and rehabilitating animals in need. Moyo was a baby elephant who was about to die. He was crossing a river with his herd when the current separated him from his family. He was found by forest guards at the exact moment when he was surrounded by a pack of hyenas, ready to be devoured. Fortunately, that Fandy was rescued in time and taken to the Wild is Life Animal Sanctuary in Zimbabwe. Moyo was handed over to the British activist when he was just a few days old, rescued by rangers after nearly drowning while trying to follow his herd during the crossing of this river with strong currents. The detail of this case is that Moyo's growth has made things a bit complicated. When the elephant was a baby, he followed his owner throughout the refuge, with many common spaces. But over a year later, it's not so simple anymore. Moyo, well or badly accustomed, still wants to follow his owner everywhere, but he grows too quickly, making things more and more difficult. Living together is chaotic, with many things broken and situations that would test anyone's patience. But the mutual love between the elephant and his owner is above these limitations. They recently made a video of this specific case, which we have incorporated into our video. Curiosities of this beautiful moment of coexistence. Elephants need adequate attention from people who are specialized in their daily issues, such as feeding, skin care, and the enormous need to drink water, as they drink up to 200 liters of water per day, and if the temperatures are high, they need an extra amount of liquids. To withstand the heat, African elephants are usually more resistant than Asian elephants, among other things because their habitat has accustomed them to withstand high temperatures. When elephants drink water, they have to do it very calmly to avoid any fighting or other aggressive behavior. They also need water to clean themselves. As for the characteristics of drinking water, it must contain an appropriate level of metals, so as not to contaminate their trunks. The amount of water they take each season and phase of life must also be taken into account. The elephant's skin must be cared for daily, including the area around the ears, the pockets of the tusks, the hind legs, the stomach, and the skin around the eyes. Dead skin on the back should be removed, as it can take a long time for the animal to shed it on its own. After bathing, it is ideal for the animal to dry off as quickly as possible without catching a cold. To feed a baby elephant, it is best to use a large bottle containing a mixture of skimmed milk and coconut oil. Although initially, the feeding should be done every 3 hours, they will be reduced until they reach 3 times a day, but vegetation as a food source will be increasingly introduced. It is also important to take into account that the elephant needs milk for 3 years and coconut oil for up to 5 years. Elephant babies need a lot of attention, contact, and affection. It is important to interact with them always, giving them plenty of water and enjoying physical play, such as pushing and gentle wrestling games. At night, it is very important to cover the elephant with a large rough blanket to imitate the mother, and even sleep next to it until 2 years of age. Socialization is another important factor. Gathering Moyo with others of his kind is essential for him to resume communication with his peers. Wild herds usually accept orphaned elephants very well, as elephants are very social animals among themselves. However, over time, some problems began to occur. Moyo soon became too big for his usual activities. After all, he is an elephant, and Moyo's cuteness gave way to chaos. He likes to try all the foods he finds and sit in places he shouldn't. Try to imagine what it would be like to have such an animal in your house. Actually, you don't need to, just look at the animal's freedom and Roxy's tranquility, who is not shaken by anything and who seems to only have the pleasure of showing love to an animal that desperately needs her. Now, at 14 months old, Moyo appears healthy and follows Roxy everywhere at Wild as Life, everywhere, including inside the house. The young elephant has grown and become accustomed to freedom, and has now become a challenge for his caretaker. After all, can you imagine having an animal whose weight is measured in tons climbing on your couch? Still, the animal's freedom and Roxy's tranquility, who is not shaken by anything and who seems to only have the pleasure of showing love to an animal that desperately needs her, is remarkable. For the caretaker, Moyo is one of those animals with whom I have formed an extraordinary bond of friendship, trust, and love. It will be very difficult to let her go when it is time. Roxy and Moyo are part of the second season of the program Nature's Miracle Orphans. The production, as the title, and the case in Zimbabwe, announces, is intended to tell stories of animals that face difficulties early in life and, even orphaned, manage to survive with the help of others. If you like this story, don't forget to leave your like. If you are not yet subscribed, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next stories. Thank you for staying until the end of the video.